All right, YouTube, first MotoVlog here. Just getting out. This is my bike right here. It's a 2013 Triumph Scrambler, 865cc parallel twin, fuel injected. These are throttle bodies on it right here. They're not actually carburetors. They just kept them on there for the looks. Introduced the bike, introduced myself. I've been riding motorcycles for about 14 years now. I've got a little over 300,000 miles. I don't know, ride them every day, ride them hard, ride them a lot, ride them far. Kind of windy where I'm at. Apologize if you can hear that. Here, I close my helmet. And I just filled up with gas, so reset the trip. And let's go. Like I said, first MotoVlog, not really vlogging type, I guess you could say. I normally just ride quiet, keep to myself. Don't really ever say anything. I don't sing or anything like that in my helmet. So it's kind of odd talking, but I guess I can let you in on some of the things that I'm thinking while I ride. Because I love riding motorcycles, man. I can't tell you how much this is a part of my life. Like I said, 14 years, a little over 300,000 miles, and I'm not 30 years old yet. So, been doing it a lot. Really, really love this stuff. Really love motorcycles. I like two wheels, the freedom, the wind in your face. Just really, really like it. It's got a 21-inch front wheel, 18-inch back wheel, but it only has 4 or 5 inches of travel on the front and about 4.5 on the back. It's got some knobby tires on it. They're not the best. They're trail wings, DOT rated, standard on the bike. I bought this motorcycle in March of 2014, and this is September of 2014, and I have 4,482 miles on it right now. I feel like I've not ridden as much this year as I would have liked to, or as often as I would in other years, or as far as I would in other years. A lot has been going on. I moved across the country this year, went from the East Coast to the West Coast, out here in California. So you'll get to go along with me as I explore a bunch of different places. I plan on putting other things on my motorcycle, or on my channel really, not necessarily a motorcycle channel. But anytime I do tinkering on the motorcycle, I may video that, do some how-to videos on this particular motorcycle. Next year, oh man, the wind just gusted really hard. Next year, my wife and I are going to buy a set of Yamaha WR250Rs, and that way we can ride it on the street to get to and from the destinations where we want to go, and then kind of go off-road and just really have more of a dirt-oriented motorcycle. And we're going to customize them individually. She's going to put what she wants on hers, I'm going to put what I want on mine, and we'll do any sort of modifications to the engine, to the exhaust, to the intake, anything that's like fuel remapping, anything like that that we do. We'll probably post it up, and so you guys can kind of follow along with those builds. I'm also probably going to get a Triumph Tiger 800 XC. I'm looking at the SE version, the special edition version, because I like the dual color frame. Kind of looks neat. It's got a 21-inch front tire, 17-inch rear rim. It's more dirt oriented than this motorcycle is, but it's still more of a touring motorcycle. And it's got the 3-cylinder Triumph engine in it. Tiger 800 XC SE, more dirt oriented than this thing is, but it's also supposed to be more adventure bike, more long range, you know. My wife and I will probably ride 2 up on that most of the time and go on some adventure type rides, overnight stuff, camping, whatnot. We'll do the same thing on the WR250Rs, but that'll probably be a little less distance. We're not going to ride near as far on those things. My wife currently has a Honda Nighthawk 250 that she's learning on. Started riding in June of this year. She's already put over 2,000 miles on the motorcycle, and she's ready for a bigger one. And she thinks she wants a Triumph Bonneville T100. She likes the styling on those things. They're nice. They look really cool. I prefer the Scrambler myself. And I told her she didn't have to get a Triumph. I mean, grew up riding Hondas, you know, so I may be a little bit biased. Grew up around Hondas, rode Honda since I was a little kid. And first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5 motorcycles were Hondas. Maybe a little bit biased. My brother rides Hondas. My dad rides Hondas. I think I'm the first one in the family to actually buy a Triumph. But I love this thing. This is an amazing motorcycle. It's really super smooth. I love the sound of the engine, the power delivery. It's awesome. Started riding dirt bikes whenever I was 8 or 9. I can't really remember. I think it was like the summer that I was 8. So my birthday's in the winter, so it was like right before I turned 9. I started on a little Suzuki. I think it was a PW50. I'm not really sure about the letters, but I know it was a 50cc Suzuki motorcycle. It had first gear, neutral, and second gear, and took the 40-to-1 mixed 2-stroke fuel. Started on that little 50cc. Man, we rode that thing and rode that thing and rode that thing and wrecked it so many times. I had it for several years. I think the last time I rode it, I was like 12. And I remember I rode it over to a friend's house. I think we were giving it to them, basically. It was wrecked out. It was no good for anything. They needed the parts to fix a different 50cc engine. So, I got hit by a bee just then. So we were giving it to him for parts. But I started it up and I rode it over there. It took me a few hours of tinkering to get it really working out. But I rode it over to his house. He lived down the block. It was really funny. Me being as big as I was at the time, riding that little 50cc clown bike at that point. So that was the last time I rode that little 50, but grew up riding dirt bikes, you know. I said earlier, 14 years of riding motorcycles and a little over 300,000 miles. That 300,000 miles is kind of a guesstimate. It's an educated guess. I went to college. I started my first motorcycle. I got my first motorcycle when I was 16. Got my motorcycle endorsement when I was 17. I got the motorcycle the summer before I turned 17, so I didn't ride on the road very much. You know, sometimes you cheat the law a little bit. You ride up and down the street and you just jump right back in your yard, you know. So that's what I did, practicing a little bit, getting used to using the blinkers and just all of the little controls, the brights and everything, just practicing what I would need to do to pass the motorcycle endorsement. And then a couple months later, I went and got my endorsement and started riding on the road full time. It was my first vehicle. It was 1982 Honda CX 500. And man, I rode that thing for several years, a couple years. Then I got onto Honda Nighthawk 750. It was a 96. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a 96. CB 750A in midnight blue. I think they only made that in 1996. And I got in a wreck on that thing because a lady was talking on her cell phone. Oh, here I am. This is where I'm going, I think. So anyway, I got in a wreck on that thing because this lady was on her cell phone and her hand and her cell phone were covering her blind spot, and I was passing her on the right on a 3-lane highway and she was in the left-hand track. She just accelerated off to the right to get off the road at a little exit ramp there, and I was passing her, and she just cut me straight across at about 55 miles an hour. 8 a.m. traffic in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I was like, I was still 17. I know I rode that CB for a couple of years after I rode the Nighthawk, but I got on the Nighthawk because it was my mom's bike. My dad had bought my mom the Nighthawk 750, and you know, I would ride it from time to time, and I was out on it that day whenever I got sideswiped, totaled the bike out. I almost got run over by this garbage truck, one of these dumpster trucks. Here, let me turn this GPS on. Almost got run over by a dumpster truck right behind me. Like as I tumbled down the street, the bike split away, went way down the road there. And as I tumbled down the street or whatever, and came to rest in the right-hand lane there, this dumpster truck just locked up its tires, was bouncing along, and came to a stop about 10-15 feet before it hit me. So, you know, I would have been a bug on a bumper back then when I was like 16, 17. And fortunately for me, that didn't happen. He stopped before he hit me. But got out of the road as quick as I could, you know, scrambled off. Went down the street, grabbed my bike, pulled it out of the median, and somebody actually had to chase the woman down because she was still on her phone. Somebody had to actually go flag her down and chase her down. She didn't even realize that she had hit me. Just kept going. It was ridiculous. This is Creek, by the way, just crossing